video, we are going to provide you with the most comprehensive step-by-step video guide the internet has ever seen on Panama Friendly Nations Visa. We will first provide you an overview of the Panama Friendly Nations Visa. We will then discuss each of the requirements in turn, and then finally, we will discuss the Panama Friendly Nations Visa process. But before we start, you should be wondering, why should I trust the information in this video? We do not charge any legal fees until you get the ID in your hand. We deal with the immigration process and opening bank accounts. We also have the partner companies in Spain, Turkey, Israel, USA, and Germany. What is a Panama Friendly Nations Visa? Let's quickly clarify what we mean when we use the term Panama Friendly Nations Visa. The Panama Friendly Nations Visa is a unique program initiated by Panama's government to boost immigration if you are a citizen in one of the 50 eligible countries that have economic or professional ties with Panama. You can see the full list in the description of this video. Apply for the Panama Friendly Nations Visa. The visa application must be made once you arrive in the country. The first status you will get when you apply for the Friendly Nations Visa will be temporary residence for 6 months, which is the time usually the immigration authorities takes to process your application and grant you provisional residence for 2 years. Friendly Nations Visa cost. As part of the investing program of Panama Friendly Nations Visa, certain government fees are applicable. This includes bank certified checks of $250, earned make for National Treasury of Panama, certified check for $800 in favor of the National Migration Service. Disclaimer: besides government fees, applicants must also consider mandatory legal and notary costs required by Panamanian authorities. Consult a legal advisor for a full cost assessment. Panama Friendly Nation Visa requirement. Under the Panama Friendly Nations Visa program, the National Migration Service of Panama can offer a provisional residence permit valid for 2 years. This is available to individuals from certain nations with strong beneficial relationships with Panama who wish undertake professional or economic activities in the country. Notarized power of attorney, an application which must be included the name and nationality of the applicant's parents, 3 photographs, a notarized copy of the passport, certificate of criminal records, health certificate, certified check of $250 in favor of the National Treasury, certified check of $800 in favor of the National Immigration Service, affidavit of personal background form. For work reasons, letter of employment on company letterhead, notarized, Panama Public Registration Certificate of the employing company, copy of the notice of operation of the employing company, notarized, copy of the power of attorney, and application for permission submitted to the Ministry of Labor of Panama, signed by the legal representative and applicant. For reasons of investment in real estate, certificate of public registry of Panama providing property ownership with a minimum value of $200,000. The property acquisition operation may be financed through a local bank. For reasons of fixed-term deposit, certificate from a general licensed bank operating in the national territory starting the existence of fixed-term deposit for an amount of $200,000. For dependent, a letter of responsibility from the resident or national, proof of relationship, marriage certificate for spouse, or birth certificate for children. For applicants between 18 and 25 years old, certification from an educational institution providing full-time regular student status and sworn declaration of being single. Proof of residence financial solvency. Copy of the income tax return with its good standing, and it must comply with the minimum income of $1,000 per month plus $100 additional for each dependent. Updated work letter with its respective payroll or Social Security Funds card, and copy of the work permit. Let's now discuss the Panama Friendly Nations Visa process. The process and timeline. First step. The first step is to know the requirements of the Friendly Nations Visa type. which we focused on the earlier in this video. Not only is this arguably the most important thing that you should focus on, but due to the sheer volume of the immigration rules that apply to Panama-friendly nations, learning the requirements normally takes expats longer than they initially expect. The second step is that obtaining certain documents may take some time. For example, for some out-of-country applicants, arranging to get the apostille of your documents that can be time-consuming. Thirdly, satisfying the immigration rules may take longer than you would expect. For instance, the relevant financial period may require you to wait several months until you satisfy the immigration rules. So other than our YouTube video, we'll focus on the feedback of this video. If you like it, stay with us because we have a lot more relevant information to share with you. A particular document you should take time to read is the Temporary Resident Permit as nationals of specific countries, which you will find on this link. It is the official document offered by the National Immigration Service as the guide to official requirements and procedures. And our website, ndm.com.pa, has a lot of guide and uploaded information, all focused on the different immigration ways that expats had in Panama. Second step, find a suitable law firm to start completing the application forms. Once you spend the time familiarizing yourself with the relevant immigration rules, if you go with the first one, which is work reasons, that step will be the following. Since Panama is fully regulated and is not part of the gray list anymore, the board of directors, banks don't allow tourists to be part of board of directors. But don't worry, we have the solution for this inconvenience. NDM have license to be a nominee directors in case you need it. In order to open a bank account, you need at least 2 people in the board of directors that needs to be residents, since the banks are restricted for tourists. If you don't have them, please contact us and we will help you out. Set up a company, register you and your company, which is the same as Social Security of United States. And finally, open a bank account for you and your company. Registration form. To complete the registration form, we need the following. 1 general copies of your passport. 1 copy of the stamp of entry to Panama. 2 size carnet pictures. 1 copy of a power of attorney and request addressed to the Immigration National Service. The original passport, and we complete the pre-registration online. Affidavit of criminal record. This form collects all the applicant's information for the National Immigration Service, and the information provided in this form is for official use. Form of legalization and authentication. When completing this registration, we must ensure that we have sent an application to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs page legalizing the following document: police record, birth certificate if you have dependents, or marriage certificate if you have a wife or a husband. Third step, submit the application. Once you have answered all of the questions in our first meeting, to complete the application form and you satisfy the relevant immigration rules and gather the requirement documentation, which largely depends on how you satisfy the requirements, we can go to the National Immigration Service and submit your application. Now, in order to submit the application, we need a notarized copy of the whole passport, 3 carnet-size pictures, criminal records, affidavit of criminal and personal record, registrado stamp on your passport, power of attorney to conduct proceedings. The information that we need from the company will be operating notice, certificate of validity of the company, letter of responsibility, bank account, bank reference letter, rental agreement, certified checks for $250 in favor of the National Treasury, certified checks for $800 in favor of the National Immigration Service. Fourth step, your first provisional ID card for 6 months. Once our lawyer have made the presentation at the National Immigration Service office, you must spend 2 to 3 days to go to immigration to take a picture for the delivery of your first temporary residence for 6 months. Fifth step, your second temporary ID card for 2 years. At this stage, you should expect the National Immigration Service to notify you that your resolution has been issued. This process usually takes no more than 6 months, and a payment of $50 must be made for the issuance of the ID. Now, let's make a recap of the essential things you cannot forget. You can obtain a driver's license only when you get your first ID. The visa application must be made once you have arrived in the country. The first status you will get when applying for the Friendly Nations visa will be temporary residence for 6 months, which is the time usually the immigration authorities takes to process your application and grant you provisional residence for 2 years. From the moment that you have your documents ready and the company registered in the public registry, we need 7 to 8 days to obtain your first ID. For further inquiries, don't hesitate to contact us.